to another edition of Did You Know Doctor Who? This is episode 70, and we're now doing another Sontaran story, one which I really love. It was the send-off to one of the best companions, in my opinion, Leela, the invasion of time. I hope you enjoy. Louise Jameson was disappointed with Leela's exit, preferring if Leela died heroically in battle rather than falling in love and leaving the Doctor. The reason why production did not kill Leela off was because audiences would have been traumatized. The story was written to replace a story called The Killers of the Dark, written by David Ware, as that story would have been too costly and too complex. It was Robert Holmes who suggested to Graham Williams that this story be split into two segments, the first 4 episodes being based around the Vardans, and the final 2 episodes being based around the Sontarans, who come into the story at the end of episode 4. The Sontaran costumes were cumbersome and limited the field of vision of the actors wearing them, so much so that they are often seen tripping through and over objects. At one point, a Sontaran played by the actor Stuart Fell nearly takes a fall after missing a short jump and landing on a pool chair. As the aliens originated on a planet of notably high gravity, however, their clumsiness is easily explained away. The Doctor feigning madness was based on Hamlet. Rodan is the first female Gallifreyan to appear on screen since Susan Foreman, more than a decade earlier. The story provides one of the most extensive views of the interior of the Tardis ever provided on television, featuring many rooms never seen again. Initially, it was revealed that the Time Lords were not native Gallifreyans, but rather had been permitted to construct their citadel there in return for ensuring the planet's populace lived in total comfort and security. It was these indigenous Gallifreyans that Leela met following her banishment. The Vardans were originally going to betray the Doctor, ordering his annihilation at the close of episode 3. Angus Mackay was unable to reprise his role as Borissa from the Deadly Assassin, so John Arnott took over. Graham Williams loved the Sontarans, hence their reappearance. Following the troubled shoot, Graham Williams sent a memo to his superiors that in future, all directors take the show seriously. The production team considered writing K9 out of the show altogether at the end of the serial due to the technical problems caused by the prop. In rehearsals, Louise Jameson and Christopher Tranchell tried to introduce additional moments of tenderness between Leela and Andrel in order to make Leela's exit more credible. Graham Williams was unhappy with Derek Deadman's choice of accent for Commander Storr, and the actor refused to heed the producer's request to modify it. The giant plant which consumed the Sontaran trooper inspired Tom Baker to suggest that his next companion should be a talking cabbage, to whom he could explain the plot as it perched on the Doctor's shoulder. The budget on the previous story, Underworld, was so tight, consideration was given to cancelling it altogether. The working title for the story was simply The Invader of Time. This is the final story of Doctor Who to feature BBC Colour at the end of the credits. Other than K9 Mark II, the Doctor is without companions at the end of the story, making the period between this story and the next, the Ribos operation, one of the few plausible spots during the show's run which allows for replacement of any number of additional Doctor Who content such as literature, audio or comics. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. The Invasion of Time is honestly quite a really solid story in my opinion. I really like this story. The Sontarans are arguably shoehorned into the story, but at the same time it's not too bad because sometimes they're still enjoyable. I love them so much. The Doctor is great in this, and Leela is also fantastic. That said, this story is very interesting in the sense of what it could have been. It could have been a whole lot darker, especially with Leela potentially being killed off, and it is interesting that the actress who played Leela really wanted this heroic ending, and instead what she got was a very generic love story at the end. Which must have been quite disappointing, especially because Leela has always been portrayed as sort of this badass warrior girl. Quite naive to the world around her, or the universe around her, but still, entertaining enough. And I think it would have been a more appropriate ending than the ending we got, but at the same time, I do like the fact that Leela does survive. This is still a really good story. I don't know what it is about this story that I really love. It's one of those things that you watch, and yeah, there's a lot of flaws to it, but at the same time, you just can't help but enjoy it. The Sontarans are great, I love the fact that we see a lot of the TARDIS this time, this is the only real story to see, have a proper in-depth look at what the TARDIS is and what it looks like, which is great in my opinion. Overall, solid story, and I totally would recommend it. It's a great season finale, I guess you could say, for that particular season, and yeah, hope you enjoyed this edition of Did You Know Doctor Who, and I'll see you next time.